Yo!
What it do,
What's going
faithful?
on?
What's going on?
We are back on another Sunday night broadcast. Now, obviously, this is going to be the bye week, right? This is the 1 week we get to talk about what they have to do, what they need to do, and what they can do to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Fuck the Chiefs.
Fuck the Chiefs.
So let's go.
This just in from Adam Schefter. We are 1 week away from the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
1 week away. That's great.
Yeah, man.
And, I just want to talk about, the Niners, the keys to success, and that's what we're going to really discuss today. Oh, shit. That's what we're going to discuss today, so I'm looking forward to that.
Keep it going.
Oh, you hear that? We have an update, so here we go.
Here you go.
This
Excellent.
just in.
Love it. I was hoping we were going to start with that.
Patrick
Just get
Mahomes
right to it.
Sr. Here we go. Dateline Sunday. Patrick Mahomes was arrested for his third DUI in Texas. Here's some of the stats. Patrick Mahomes Sr. arrested for driving while intoxicated for the third time as per online booking records. Fuck, that sucks. The 53-year-old arrested in Tyler, Texas on Saturday night. Bond expected to be set for later today, which I'm sure Patrick Mahomes Jr. paid off. Mahomes Sr. previously arrested for a DWI in 2019, the same year they won the Super Bowl, receiving a 40-day jail sentence served on weekends. So this being his third DUI, he's going to have to do probably some more time as well. So that's not looking good for Pat Mahomes Sr., who's a former MLB player as well. His son, Patrick Mahomes, will take on the 49ers Super Bowl Sunday next Sunday. So the question I have for all you guys and everyone at home who's watching, do you think that this will be a distraction for Patrick Mahomes? Dre, let's start with you.
Absolutely. I mean, looking for any advantage that we can get Sunday, and this is definitely one of them. We've seen different distractions in the past prior to Super Bowl Sundays or leading up to big games. I know Andy Reid, we had a situation with Andy Reid's son a few years back. Similar situation.
I forgot about that.
DUI, and he actually ended up killing somebody. So
he got fired.
He got fired.
He was let go the next day.
You're fired.
Everyone's human, including all NFL players. I can't see how this couldn't be a distraction leading up to the game. Third DUI in a span of 5 years. He's definitely doing some time. So looks like Patrick Mahomes might be visiting the precinct before he's actually.
He looks happy as fuck. Look at him.
He's like, man, I don't care.
I'm hella drunk still. It's like,
terrible,
Daniel,
terrible.
Niner Dan, do you think that this is going to be a distraction for Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I'll tell you what. If Taylor Swift isn't a big enough distraction, then I don't know what the fuck is. All right.
Good call.
Is it going to be a distraction? Probably the media isn't going to focus on it because it's Patrick Mahomes, and they're just going to look over it and glaze over it and just have you focus on other bullshit.
Yeah, they're like, well, it wasn't his fault.
Anything to give him the advantage.
Yeah, but we're all human. I'm sure this is probably weighing on old Patty right now.
The whole
thinking
Mahomes
about
family.
He's like, oh fuck, my dad sucks.
Fuck my dad, damn it.
But you know what? I mean, people have substance abuse problems, and this guy certainly does, and he's proven it. So,
Pat Mahomes going for his third Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes Sr. going for his third stint in jail, baby.
Hey,
he's going for his third DUI. He's like, hey, I got my third. How about you?
3 times.
I think that this will definitely be a distraction for Patrick Mahomes. I think that obviously, look, if your dad gets arrested a week before the Super Bowl, you're going to have to answer questions about it. So again, this is just one more thing that's going to be on his mind.
You know what? He might get asked those questions during all the Super Bowl interviews and crap like
absolutely.
that.
What'd you do?
It's going to come up every time.
Yeah.
yeah,
What do you think about your dad? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. You know what? I thought I saved it, but there was a tweet out there that showed Patrick Mahomes Sr., his mugshot, saying Pat Mahomes' family's, like his support system, and then it showed Brock Purdy's family all together, like in the living room, smiling.
Oh my God!
I was like, oh, that's fucked up.
The comparisons are beginning.
Yeah,
already.
basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Poor guy. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna be somebody that you can't take lightly out on the field. But I think that this, again, is just another distraction that he will have to take on. And it's a personal one as well.
Yeah.
Niner for Life says his dad looks like a straight-up meth head. Oh, my God.
In that picture, definitely. Here's to that.
Wow. Yeah, pretty much.
This is probably scripted. Oh, my God. It's just crazy. Think about it. And then check this out. So I found this on the web. This is it says Patrick Mahomes' dad seeing CJ Stroud's dad in prison cafeteria.
Is that Michael Caine?
It's from Batman.
Yeah,
or The Dark Knight Rises. But yeah,
Dark Knight Rises.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, yes. He's like, all right, you're here too.
Acknowledged.
It does say here that his bond is being set at $10,000. He was released from jail on Sunday afternoon. The charge is a third-degree felony and carries a sentence for up to 10 years in prison if he is convicted according to state law. Now, more than likely, he won't get 10 years, but he'll probably have to serve at least 30 days in jail. So
minimum.
While Patrick Mahomes Jr. is celebrating, his dad will be probably in jail. So I don't know. That's not good. But his arrest comes a week before his son is set to play against the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 58. So, hey, you know what? One more distraction.
Great timing.
Yeah, great timing,
man.
He's probably like, come on, man.
I know.
Like, you had to do this today?
A Super Bowl. You got to go get fucking hammered.
Only matter of time. Only matter of time before his younger brother's in the list too.
Oh yeah, he's well, they got some issues over there, but yeah,
that family.
It's not good. I mean, it's tough to. Oh God, here's another one.
You don't want to be in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Let's go to this one here. Hold on. Do I have it up? Yeah, I do. Where is it? Here we go. So it says Justin Patrick Mahomes Sr. was arrested for DWI just in time, just days before his son is going to play in the Super Bowl. Mahomes Sr. was charged with his second DWI in 2018 and was sentenced to 40 days in jail. His third DWI offense is a third degree, meaning that he could spend a whopping 10 years in jail. Mahomes Sr. is being held on $10,000 bond. Sad to see, and this is a video of Mahomes' dad.
Y'all don't want me to do all that again.
No, but how excited are you?
I got a special blend. I'm very excited, man. I mean, going back to another Super Bowl,
this was just the other day.
Anybody could even imagine, so I'm just happy.
How proud are you of him?
I'm always proud of him. I was proud of him before he started playing football. I mean, it makes me even more proud that he's doing the things that he's doing.
Well, he's so proud that he went out and got hammered that night. So
yeah,
he seems like a fun guy to party with.
Probably.
Pre-celebration gonna end up biting him in the ass. So
he had that special blend cigar. He said.
Yeah, he did. Okay, shit. So the Niners set off today to go to Vegas. They finally went to Vegas today to arrive at Super Bowl 58. But on their way out, there was a ton of Niner fans that were there to send them off on the best of terms. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those. Here's some footage from inside the van, or the bus, that is. That's pretty cool,
Yeah, that's great.
It's fucked up weather.
Wish them well. Wish them luck. I'd be out there if I could.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know what I mean? And then, of course, they landed as well in Vegas. later that evening or this evening, and here's some of the footage of them getting off the plane. There's Jennings, a whole bunch of players ready to kick some ass in Super Bowl 58.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
They look locked in, so it's going to be a long week of distractions, a long week of media, long week of still trying to, prepare for Sunday. It's about who's going to, stay the course, who's really going to show up, show out. This is their time. The Niners, we've been here, we've been to this stage before. Obviously the Chiefs have consecutively. So this is the Niners' time. It has to be now.
It has to be now. I mean, this is their golden opportunity. And on top of that, I know that we faced the Chiefs before, but what we don't, the difference is that this time we have Brock Purdy. We don't have Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, look, Jimmy G was a good Niner for the most part, he took us places that we hadn't been in a while.
He brought life back to the team. He brought life back to the team.
But the one thing we won't get to see again is shit like this. Here we go. Just go down. What are you doing?
Able to stay upright. Breland is there for Kansas City.
You won't see shit like that anymore. Like
numbers aren't.
Yeah,
numbers aren't pretty. KC's won 3 straight games against the Niners. Last three straight, 5 out of the last 6. But the last time the Niners and KC actually met last year, McCaffrey had actually just signed a contract a week prior, or that week. So he didn't even suit up and didn't even get a chance to play against KC. Or maybe he did have a
no, he did.
Too,
he did get a chance to play against them, and I mean it was very limited because he didn't know the full
even
playbook
in the at that point. So
yeah, and he said we had McCaffrey, but yeah, it was Jimmy Garoppolo. We did see Purdy at the very end of the game. He threw a couple good passes and he threw an interception as well. But he was just in kind of mop-up duty. No,
good old Jimmy.
Fucking Jimmy.
Hey guys, I'm gonna put this out there again. There's a link in the description below. If you become a member of the Nicotina channel, I will send you this Jimmy Garoppolo jersey as I'm trying to move this out of my collection. So next person who becomes a member of the channel, you're getting a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. So just want to put that out there.
A lot of motivation right there.
Give it to your lady. Give it to your lady. I'm sure whoever you are, your lady will appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so one of the topics I want to talk about was sense of urgency. So this was one of the topics that came up throughout the week that I want to talk about today. So this was addressed by Steve Wilkes. In fact, this is the comment he made about the sense of urgency. Let's listen in the podium.
Yesterday about how they felt that effort and pursuit was an issue for the defense in the NFC Championship game. What do you attribute that to? What do you feel that was?
I think you really have to ask them individually. Collectively as a team, I can tell you as a defense, it's unacceptable. All right, and we talked about that. I wish I could tell these guys on play 4, on play 27, this is what's going to happen. You don't know. So we got to make sure that we play every down as if it's going to be the difference in the ball game. And you can see on those two particular plays, it wasn't to our standard. And those guys understand and know that. Quite honestly, it was embarrassing.
Yesterday about.
What do you guys think about what he said? I mean, he literally said, quite honestly, it was embarrassing. Daniel, let's start with you. I mean, he didn't shy away from the question. He addressed the question straight up. But what did you think about his response?
I thought it was right. I thought it was fitting. He has a veteran squad for the most part. He has some big veteran players, and he knows that they got to take some ownership for their lack of effort on some plays out there. And I think he spoke well. He speaks like a leader, and he definitely has the respect of that squad. So I'm looking forward to the Niners defense this Sunday coming up, and just seeing how they can really focus and buckle down on what got them here, which was incredible play on the offensive side, but the defensive side was just incredible as well. So they made some big plays all season long, and it's really time to cap it off now.
So, Dre, what did you think about his response about Steve Wilkes and the comments that he made about the sense of urgency, intensity?
Well, I think it's a public call out for the whole defensive side, coaches, players, personnel, everything from top to bottom. The fact that he's having to address this, I can't believe that he's too pleased. Obviously, you could tell by his demeanor. You could tell by his reaction to the question as well too. Having this conversation prior to the biggest game of the season, the biggest stage, is definitely concerning. You definitely hope that it catches everybody's attention, and that there's that sense of urgency coming into this game. And these guys better be ready to hit somebody and better be ready to finish. I think that's the biggest thing is the secondary. He made or Shanahan made a couple comments about 3 particular plays, and it's not just setting the edge and the defensive line, but it's the secondary and their pursuit to the ball and their angles and their swarm technique that we seem to have lost, I think, ever since D'Amico left. I know that was one of his main points of emphasis for the defense, and that was his key word, was to swarm the ball, the one carrying the ball. So I think that needs to take place this upcoming Sunday.
Yes,
and that
absolutely.
sense of urgency needs to be from the moment that whistle is blown, the moment that game starts. They need to be hungry and they need to be ready to make plays, because that's the only way we're going to win this game, is if we make plays.
I mean, there's 2 guys in particular that, to me, they really, really got to step up their game, especially one of them who's going to be looking for a contract this offseason. Chase Young. We acquired Chase Young, who was supposed to be a stud defensive end, and so far he has done not that much of anything. Now, he had a better second half against the Lions, but that effort he showed, especially on that Jahmyr Gibbs run, that was pathetic, man. He put his hand out like, oh. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that.
Yeah, I know he was a point of
good.
emphasis, at least on one of those plays, and you just we understand that his MO is to rush the passer.
And if you watch some of those, go ahead, Dre.
No, and I think there's an issue with his approach right now, and the fact that he was kind of thrown into the fire, having to now be an every down defensive end. I think it's caught him a little off guard. I don't know if he's not comfortable with the scheme. I really don't know what is the issue with him not being able to set the edge, and the lack of effort and the lack of not being in position to make a play. When he definitely has the play running at his side. So he definitely needs to be. He definitely needs to show up and show out. Who knows what's going to happen next year? I don't know if he's really playing himself into a contract extension. So we need to see something from him.
Wow! At least he didn't get a tattoo.
Across your chest.
You know what though? Like if you look at some of the replays that they're showing on some of the plays that Chase Young was involved, he's taking like weird angles off the ball where he's on the outside and he's like goes behind the D lineman and comes up the middle. They're like, "What the hell is he doing?"
He's taking these weird angles,
and then they're just breaking to the outside. And there's
it's like, who the fuck told you to do that?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Well, he's just trying to do whatever he can to get to the quarterback, but he's not setting the edge. He's not setting the pocket. He's just kind of taking weird angles.
Exactly.
No.
And the problem is if he's doing something the coach isn't asking him to do, they're just like, what the fuck's going on?
Exactly.
Did Wilkes say, all right, Chase, you're going to fucking pretend you're going to go right, but instead you're going to go around up the middle?
That's what I'm saying.
They try those stunts every now and then, but I agree. It looks like he's just on his own trying to
figure everything out.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just gonna wing this shit.
He's not utilizing the other guys on the line.
Exactly. He needs to step it up. He needs to be better on the end. He needs to set the edge. He needs to be better against the run. And I mean, look, if need be, I even heard talk about maybe you put Eric Armstead at your defensive end, and you bring in.
He's played it before. He's played out there.
And then you
Yeah.
bring in Javon Kinlaw, so you have Kinlaw, Hargrave, and Armstead with Bosa.
There was
try
talk
to
about
change things
Two
up.
big boys in the middle. Yeah, big
Yeah.
boys in the middle, and a guy with a huge wingspan that can bat down balls. Not only that, but also set the edge for the run on the outside.
Well, and
I
this
think
brings
I think
me-
you can move him in and out too. Yeah,
You could definitely. I think you got to give different looks on that defensive line. They had ran some different looks where they had Chase Young and Nick Bosa on the inside as opposed to being on the outside, and that really fucked them up on. I forgot. I think it was against the Commanders. But the other thing that leads me to is Javon Hargrave. This guy, where has he been? He has fucking zeros across the board.
He has not shown up in this playoffs.
He's
The
been
only time-
invisible. He's been
The
Non-existent.
only time
For
he
the most
showed up.
part. Against the Packers, I think he did, right?
No, he didn't do shit against them.
He
The only
didn't do
time he
shit.
showed up
remember,
was
honestly.
against the Lions on that fourth down. Him along with Armstead and Chase Young got pressure on Jared Goff, which caused him to roll out to his right, and he threw that pass into the
I
dirt.
remember. He was one of the ones chasing
Oh, that
him
was
down.
a
That's
fourth
right.
down
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, and that was the only play that I can
Yeah.
remember where he actually made an impact. I mean,
Yeah.
against the run, he's been not very good, and we knew that going into the season that he was weak against the run. But I mean, they have literally abused him
Yeah.
when it comes
he's
to
played.
trying to stop the run. They're running right at him, and that's a problem.
Yeah, he's played against some pretty good guards and stairs. For the two matchups he's had. I'm right in agreement with you, though. We haven't heard his name called. You can pretty much zero him out in any of these matchups, and whether it's getting pressure to the quarterback up the middle or missing your assignment right on the line and not pretty much getting away from your offensive lineman to make a play. I mean, it's something that I guess we were expecting to see a lot more of, and especially in the big games. Obviously, last year being on the Eagles, he was wrecking havoc in the middle, and I haven't seen any of that this postseason.
If anything, he because he's kind of a shorter, stubbier guy. I've just seen him getting stood up at the line where he just stands there.
Yeah,
but he's
I was
a
seeing a
strong
lot.
dude.
You were
I
seeing a
mean,
lot of the defensive line getting stood up for the first half of that game.
Yeah.
It was pretty embarrassing. That's the correct word.
Yeah, we got to get some pressure, man. Pressure.
Yeah.
And to your point again,
definitely.
Andre, I think the team. This is one of my bullet points for the talk today. Is the team that makes the best adjustments during the game is going to win the game. And I think on the defensive line, you're going to have to throw something that Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid that they just haven't seen before. You're going to have to mix something up, whether it's in the secondary or on the defensive line. Change up, give them something they aren't ready for. And I think that's going to be the only way we're going to be able to catch them off guard and to make a play. Secondary is going to have to make an interception. I know I've seen some stuff on Bleacher Report saying that a lot of people have a good feeling that Charvarius Ward, since he knows the team so well, might be the one to maybe get that interception off Patty Mahomes in a key situation. So whether it be the secondary or defensive line, you got to change something up, make adjustments.
Yeah.
Well, and if you remember back in 2019 when we played them in the Super Bowl, we had 2 picks against him. Fred Warner got one, and Tarvarius Moore, I think his name was, he got one as well. So we were able to pick him off. Now, granted, that was 4 years ago, and he's become an even better player since then. But I think defensively, if they show up and if they play to their standard, if they can play to their top level, I think that they'll have a field day against this team, because really they're a pass-heavy team. And so if you can disrupt their pass game and make them one-dimensional, especially by getting an early lead on them, it's going to be a huge difference. Now, one of the things that we talked about before the show when I was talking to Daniel over here, I felt that one of the keys to the game was, look, in the past 8 years, right? We're talking about right now we're at Super Bowl 58. In the past 8 years, how many teams have we seen go into the Super Bowl and have a dominant actually, I shouldn't say 8 years. Probably let's go 10 or even 12, 15. How many defenses have we seen come in there and absolutely dominate the game? We saw it with the Legion of Boom when they played against the Broncos. They whooped their ass. But then they didn't do it the following year against the Patriots. Patriots were able to score on them.
Yeah.
So that was at their peak, right? And they blew out the Broncos, who had an explosive offense. And then we saw it again when the Broncos went and got their defense all beefed up for Super Bowl 50 against Cam Newton and the Panthers. They shut
Von Miller had
down
a crazy game.
Yeah, and they shut down the Panthers offense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fuck Cam Newton.
So when we talk about so everyone keeps saying the Chiefs defense. We don't always see a defense dominate a game. Like I said, we saw it with Legion of Boom against the Broncos. We saw the Broncos do it
especially
for four quarters. We saw the Broncos do it to the Panthers. And we also saw the Buccaneers do it to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That defense they had that year completely shut down the Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
He was running for his life every drop back. So to say that the Chiefs defense is going to be a factor, I'm sorry, but I don't think this defense is going to be as big as a factor as the analysts are saying. And I think that the Niners are going to have a much easier time scoring on them than they did even Detroit. Detroit's defense and Detroit's offense was on fire in the first half. And then the second half, they came back down to earth and got ran over.
Yeah.
When we look at the defensive stats to kind of, show us where we're at with the two teams, right? Hold on, let me take this down. There we go. Obviously, the Browns had number 1 defense. Okay.
That's during regular season.
This is regular season. The Chiefs had number 2 defense. We had the number 8 defense. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of where their total defense was ranked.
Mm-hmm.
But the advantage that we have here, pass defense. We know that they have a great pass defense. Chiefs are number 4.
Yeah, their secondary is very good.
Their
They have
secondary
great
is
corners
good.
and safeties.
Niners is number 14. Okay. We have 20 picks. They have 19. But we allow more yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But when we get down to the rushing defense, the Niners have the number 3 rushing defense, which you wouldn't know it by the way we played in the playoffs. But the Chiefs
last two games,
have
been a
the
different
number
team.
17 ranked run defense.
And if you look at that, they're giving up the same amount of yards in the postseason as they were in the regular season. If you scroll back up, Andre, let's take a look at what the Niners do in the postseason. They're giving up a lot more.
Well, it shows
rushing
playoff
yards.
TDs.
The playoff average, though, right there is 159.
Playoff average is 159,
Yeah.
which isn't that great. They're averaging 113. That's what they averaged during the regular season. Was
Yeah, so
113.
they've stayed consistent with that piece.
Yes. And what's one thing that we know about the Niners so far this year is that if Christian McCaffrey runs for 100 yards, we've won every game.
And we should
That's
win
key.
this game.
One of the keys to the game is to get McCaffrey his touches, get him his yards, because good things happen. The results speak for themselves. I think you can pretty much predict Kyle Shanahan's going to utilize McCaffrey. He's going to lean on McCaffrey. I'm going to throw Debo in there as well, too, our power
absolutely.
wide back. Give him a couple of different looks. Line Debo up in the backfield. Send Christian McCaffrey out wide. And I think we're going to be able, as you said, Andre, I think we're going to be able to find some holes in this defense, running the ball and then being able to attack the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think
George
McCaffrey has a great chance of being MVP if the Niners pull this off.
Absolutely.
Look for that guy to have
Catching
an
and running the
MVP
ball.
game right here.
That's a good call.
I think
That's a good
that he has to be a factor out of the backfield in the passing game, and of course he has to be a factor in the run game. But I think that they're going to lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and you saw that in the second half of the Lions game. And I think that was the game plan going into the Packer game as well, until Deebo had to exit the game. So the end arounds with Deebo Samuel, the handoffs to Deebo, using Christian McCaffrey. I mean, this is the number 17 ranked run defense. They give up 100 yards rushing.
Yeah. Debo had a good Super Bowl against them a few years back. He was a rookie that year, but they utilized him early and often, and he was able to punish the Chiefs secondary. I'm not sure what the rankings were back in that last Super Bowl, but he was able to give him some fits. in that game.
And Nine for Life points out too that last year Hurts had a field day against them running the ball. I remember that he kept taking off, and they were like, "Oh." Now, do I think Brock Purdy's going to run for 100 yards? No, I
No.
don't. I think he'll run when he needs to. But I think that the Niners offensive line has to make their presence known right off the gate and starting that run game. If we could run on these guys, it's going to be a major problem for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wear them down.
And we have a chance to have a game sort of like what we had against the Green Bay Packers back in 2019 where they could not stop the run. But on the flip side of things, going back to the Niners having that killer instinct, that urgency, they need to have that. They need to be flying around the field. They're going to have a bye week. They're going to be practically 100% when it comes to health.
Yeah. And what you don't want to see, you do not want to see how the Niners
sides of the ball
came out against the Packers. Remember, the Niners had that bye week before they played the Packers. That they came out and they looked flat, right? They didn't look quick. Flat. They didn't look crisp. They cannot do that come this game on Sunday where you're getting that same gap in between games. You got the bye week. You got to come out hungry as fuck and want to get Patrick Mahomes.
You have to leave it all on the
field. You got to get him.
Every play,
you got to get him.
Every play, 100% with your hair on fire. Everything's going to matter this game.
Fire.
All 60 minutes.
And then if you watch, if you go back and watch the highlights of the Buccaneers and Chiefs, what they did so well was that they got Mahomes off of his spot. And so he was having to run for his life almost every down. I couldn't believe it. It's actually the way I thought the Niners were going to play against them the year before, but they didn't. But again, if you watch even Niners and Chiefs, we won that game all the way up until the fourth quarter. They played 3 quarters of great Niner football. They couldn't do it in the fourth. And a lot of that, I blame on Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy had no scrambling ability. Jimmy couldn't make plays on his own. If the first read wasn't there and he got happy feet, we were fucked.
Well, he wasn't a playmaker. He's not a playmaker.
He was not. And so I think that Jimmy Garoppolo really held us back in that fourth quarter because in the fourth quarter is when you have to kind of show your ability. And I think that Brock Purdy showed that, especially against the Lions. I mean, he was taking off for runs. He was making incredible passes. So I think that we're going to get a much better showing in terms of quarterback. But my fear is that we're going to get off to a slow start. And so we need to make sure that if we're going to defer, that we have to stop them on their first drive. We can't let Mahomes go down and score a touchdown.
Defense has to come out flying.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we talked about. It's just coming out strong.
Yes. So I think one of the keys of the game is the defense especially needs to come out strong. They need to come out with maximum effort and just fly around the field and put the fear of God in these guys, knowing like, holy shit, these guys are flying around.
We haven't played a team like this yet.
Exactly.
That's what you want them to do. Like, oh, fuck. Okay. Here we go.
I mean, we have so many names on this team. Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, Drake Greenlaw. These guys need to make their presence known immediately.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think if the Niners try to take Kelsey out like right away, that's what you're going to need to do against these Chiefs because they're going to try to get Kelsey into the game immediately, like into rhythm, get the ball moving towards his direction. Mahomes is going to try to test the linebackers to see how well can they cover, what the schemes are. So look for the Chiefs to attack with Kelsey right away. And, Pacheco's known to be involved in the game, like from the get-go. He was like that against the freaking Dolphins or even the Ravens when they first, started the game. It was just a lot of Pacheco running hard. So you're going to see that. But Kelsey is the guy, I'm telling you, man, if we can fucking somehow mitigate his ass, and it's going to make that team just that much less potent if you can just try to minimize Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, I think the way you minimize Kelsey is you collapse the pocket and get pressure on Patrick Mahomes and get him off his spot. Now, look, is he a mobile quarterback? Yes and no, but he can move. Yeah. But getting him off his spot is what we have to do. And
Right.
if they don't
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
then he'll be able to hit Kelsey all day long. Go ahead,
Now,
Jerry.
dude-
What were you going to say?
No, exactly. No, kind of just following up on what you guys are saying. It's those extended plays. It's the chemistry that Mahomes and Kelsey have. It's the ad-libbed plays. It's the unscripted stuff. Down is where they can gut you. And I think for the defense, you have to make sure that you're on schedule and you're on point for the entire play. Just because you see the play breaking down, you can't let down your guard. You have to finish the play. That's going to be extremely important. You're going to have to protect the perimeter. You're going to have to set the edge. It's going to be a full 11 defensive 11 full team effort. I see us needing to fly around, get off to a fast start, like you said, and it's gonna be tough. This is the Chiefs that we're talking about, but I think it starts with, like you said, get pressure on Mahomes, get him off of his spot, and make it as difficult as you can on him to make a play.
Yeah, and I think the more pressure you get on Mahomes, because tight ends, they have to block, right? So if you can consistently put pressure on Mahomes, then you got to have Kelsey be blocking.
Exactly. He won't be
and
able
that's
to
the
go
thing,
motherfucker,
too,
fucking
is
block.
that Kelsey is not a blocking tight end. He's not a
Right. He's
blocking
not
tight
known
end.
as a big time blocking tight end. So if you get the consistent pressure, and I want to see it up the middle. Let's make that fucker run around a little bit. You can get those tight ends
let
to stay
Chase
home
and
more.
Nick let Chase and Nick eat, because if you can you can get him on the outside. He's not, I mean, yes
he's
and no.
quick.
Like
He's quick.
He can be quick-footed at times. So
he can
it's
trample.
about not letting him beat you with that quick little head fake, that little pump fake. He loves to do it. He loves to get you to jump up in the air. So it's about staying disciplined. This has to be the most disciplined game the Niners on defense have to play on Sunday. Otherwise, we really don't stand a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another thing too is that, obviously we're talking keys of the game. I think the second biggest key of the game is of course unlocking Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel in the run game. But I think it's more than that. I think those are kind of the obvious keys. For me, one of the biggest keys is that they need to have that pre-snap motion going all the time. They need to really show the Chiefs defense that we have a dynamic offense, something they did not see in Baltimore. Baltimore's offense looked completely anemic. We need to show them that our offense is dynamic and has playmakers everywhere. And that's going to make a huge difference. Now, the offensive line obviously needs to show up and give Purdy just some time to throw the ball. Chris Jones is going to be a force in the middle against that offensive line. But I think that the pre-snap motion and showing basically
using for matchups. He's going to be moving on the D line.
Demonstrating that you have a dynamic offense against this Chiefs defense. Because look, we know that both Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan both prefer to defer the second half. So whoever wins that toss will decide who's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
So either way, we're not going to get.
That's a big key to the game.
Yeah.
That's a big key to the game. Kyle Shanahan has to be in his bag of tricks. That's, I mean, like you said, that's the key to the game right there. The Shanahan versus Reed, or technically Shanahan versus Spagnuolo. He needs to also be able to make those quick decisions. He needs to be able to be on point with his clock management. He needs to continue to stay aggressive in certain situations as we're winding down to the first half. We've already seen it once in the Green Bay game where he was a little hesitant on that last drive. Luckily, it didn't come back to bite us in the end. But this is not the Green Bay Packers. We need to every possession we have an opportunity. We need to score, and we need to score 7, not field goals. We can't leave it on the kickers, on the leg of the kicker for sure.
Jake
Let's
Moody.
not even get into that.
Moody, come on, give Moody. But
I think
he'll come through. I think he'll come through.
He'll come through. Let's
within that key to the game, though, I think we have to talk about the X factor, and that's Brock Purdy. And now what he's shown on tape to defenses now, and his ability and mobility to escape the pocket and slip under linemen because of his, he's not the biggest statured QB, so that helps. But I think If he's able to avoid pressure and avoid sacks and make it 11-on-11 football, I think that will go a long way to make the secondary not be able to sit on routes. They're going to have to be more honest and expect Brock Purdy is going to have the capability to escape the pocket. And I think it's going to open up some stuff downfield now that they know that he has that ability to run for 15, 20, 25 yards. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah, that's going to be key.
They might have to throw like a QB spy on him, just to double check him on certain plays, especially third downs.
Exactly. And I think
they'll waste a guy on that.
Exactly. And then that's going to open something up. It's going to leave one-on-one coverage for one of the receivers, maybe Kittle up the middle. Right. It's going to be huge. It'll make it 11-on-11 football, and that's advantage Niners.
Yeah, and I like the call out on having a lot of motion in the offense to keep that defense guessing. But what I don't want to see, and what I think a lot of fans don't want to see, is a lot of these. I don't want to see little flea flickers and a whole lot of bullshit. Like I don't want to get cute with the ball. I want them to do their thing. What we've been seeing. I don't want to see some.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. Exactly.
We had two flea flickers. Like, what are we doing here? It's a championship game.
So, I mean, a lot of those words you're talking about is absolutely true. It's going to be a blast of seeing what Shanahan and Wilkes and that whole coaching staff has done with his team. Throughout the whole year, this postseason. Now with the bye week to continue to practice and fine tune, get healthy. You don't hear a lot about players injured at this point, although I'm sure everyone's a little banged up. So it's just going to be fantastic.
Yes, fuck the trick plays.
Yes, see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're up big, go for it, but not early on.
I don't even know. Don't do it on your own 30.
Yeah, God.
As far as injuries go, I believe Joe Tooney, one of the guards, if I'm not mistaken, is a long shot to play with a pectoral injury, which is huge.
I think they said he might be a game time decision too.
No, I've heard he's got a long shot. I don't think he's going to be suiting up for this game. I'm not exactly sure who their backup would be, or any adjustments. Maybe somebody slides over to the guard and maybe another tackle comes in. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing. The other thing is I don't know if you guys saw, Jerick McKinnon is now off the IR, which brings other dynamic playmaker to their offense.
But who
knows how healthy he is? He's been out since the I can't remember which game it was, but I want to say it's been since week 15, 16.
Yeah, and that
he was on IR, so he missed the last 4 games of the season
too. I remember him.
Yeah,
he was scoring touchdowns every week or every other weekend. He was scoring touchdowns.
He's going to be the
good receiving running back.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. He's the change of pace running back. He's the guy on the outside. He's the bubble screen guy. He's the guy you throw behind the line of scrimmage and then get him in space, and he's going to do the rest. So that's just something else the Niners are going to have to be accounting for.
And that's where they're going to really have to step up their game, is because in order to take pressure off their own offensive line, they're likely going to be running a lot of bubble screens, a lot of short intermediate passes to get rid of the ball fast. I was watching highlights of
the susceptible to that all year.
All year.
I
was watching highlights of Niners Jaguars, and that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to throw screen passes all the time to disrupt that pass rush. And it was effective for the most part, but the Niners need to be able to stay on top of that to make sure, because where they're the weakest. I mean, obviously we talk about up the middle at Javon Hargrave. Teams have been able to run up the middle, but sideline to sideline. When they run out to the edges, they've been weaker on the edges.
Both sides.
Yeah,
it's a little over pursuit from Bosa, or him, being overly aggressive, which I know he's trying to make a play, but they're countering that. And then on the other side with Chase Young, just being out of position and not being in the right area to make a play at the same time, and that leaves the edge and the outside wide open. And then it's leaving it up to the secondary and the safeties to make a play.
So when you look at the offensive stats here, okay, so total offense, Niners are number 2, Dolphins are number 1, but they're kind of front runners, and then you got the Chiefs with a number 9 total offense, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
if
a
you go
dink and
down-
dunk offense. That's not attacking downfield offense. That's
No.
I'll take what you
No, it's
what you
not.
give
Yeah,
me.
it's
And
a
that's
dink
how
and
they've
dunker.
been and that's how they've been successful, owning time of possession, not doing too much on the offensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
And that's why Mahomes' is not interceptions are down, is because he's not attacking downfield. He's taking whatever
Yeah.
the defense is going to give him.
That was one of the biggest things about the Chiefs, was that early on they were having problems because Mahomes kept turning the ball over. In the past, I don't know, 5-6 weeks, he's done a great job at not turning the ball over. So again, he's been better.
Yeah,
at,
his the numbers last week, he was 30 of 39. He was 30 of 39 for like over 200 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, a couple of clutch passes, but I mean, nothing to write home about. I'm sure his average yard per pass wasn't that impressive, but exactly, he's protecting the ball. He's not doing
okay.
anything.
Oh,
He's
come
not doing
on.
too much.
Why?
So looking at the passing offense, right? The Chiefs have the number 6 passing offense. The Niners have the number 4. They've been averaging 251.5 in the playoffs, while the Chiefs have been averaging 235.7. The Chiefs are a very pass-heavy team. When it comes to the rushing offense, the Niners are number 3 in the playoffs, averaging 133 yards, while the Chiefs are, where are they?
Keep going down.
Yeah,
Number 19.
There
They've been
they
allowing
are.
127 yards. So when you have a running back in Christian McCaffrey and a gadget guy in terms of having Deebo Samuel, this is where your advantage is that you have to pound them in the run game, keep that defense on the field, wear them down, and they need long progressive drives that are just going to keep Mahomes off the field.
Yeah,
And that's what they did so well. Even in
Keys to
Time of
2019.
possession. Time of possession.
Yes, time of possession
Absolutely.
is
Have
critical.
to win time of possession in this game. It has to be a time of possession game for the Niners.
Scoring offense. What does this mean? Scoring
The Niners are
offense.
averaging 29. Wow.
Yeah. We're averaging almost 29 points a game, while the Chiefs, number 15, they're only averaging 21 points a game. 22 if you count, if you round up. In the playoffs, averaging 23. Niners have been averaging 29. This is a team that only scored 17 points against the Ravens. They only scored a little over 20 points against the Bills. So you're not looking at a team that scores a lot of points. What you're looking at is a team that likes to get a lead and then use their defense to hold you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other team that was like that,
they cannot afford to get into the shootout with us.
no,
It's exactly what you said. They're thinking the same exact thing. Own time of possession, long methodical drives, wear us down, use the defense to turn the ball over in key situations, and that's how they're looking to win the game. And we got to be thinking the same exact thing too.
Yeah. In all honesty, you don't want to see a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
I don't think they have enough, though. I really don't think they have
I
enough.
don't think they do, but they got that quarterback, man. But you know what? We know what's due is a fucking blowout. I haven't seen a fucking Niner blowout in a while. Let's have one right now. Let's have one Sunday.
After these two
see
wins,
a
52-14 victory. I mean, that's a fucking blowout.
I would love it.
Just embarrassing.
And
Just
I-
embarrassing.
After the way we won these past 2
I
games,
go streaking.
I'd be like, look, I'm ready for a fucking blowout, dude. Fucking blowout. After these 2 comeback wins in the playoffs.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready for that.
It's been quite different than what we're accustomed to. Let's just say that.
My good friend Droga from Australia jumps in here saying, if you ain't first, you're last. There you go.
Wow.
I love it. Don't need to say more than that. That's true.
Let's see here. Red zone offense. Niners are number 1 in red zone offense. In the playoffs, they're actually better. In the regular season, they were at 67.2, and on the playoffs, they're 83.3.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, where are they at?
All the way down there.
Where?
Number
Did I pass it?
17.
Oh, there they are. Sorry.
There they are.
They're actually lower.
17.
54%, 46% in the playoffs.
46. Yep.
And I think, again, when you look at the weapons that he has, we're not playing against a Chiefs team that has Tyreek Hill. We're playing against a Chiefs team that still has Travis Kelce, 4 years older. Okay.
Yeah.
And
4 years older.
receivers like Valdez Scanling and Rice.
Rasheed Rice.
Rasheed Rice. And these aren't world beaters. These aren't guys where you're like, oh man, Don't let him get past
No,
you.
these guys are guys that drop the ball every now and then.
Oh,
Key
for sure.
situations, clutch
The
moments.
Chiefs led I think they led the NFL in drop
and
passes.
drop passes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
So
they didn't drop any. That last pass he threw to Valdez-Scantling, he didn't drop that pass against the Ravens. He hung on to that one, which sealed the game. This is going to be another key.
Then he must be due for a couple of drop passes in this next game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so this
It's
is another
time.
big key to the game is your third down offense. The Niners went from 47.5 during the season to 57.1 in the playoffs.
That's
On third
clutch.
down, they've been really, really good,
Big.
especially in the
That's
clutch.
big.
But what's
Brock Purdy
interesting is
utilizing
that
his legs. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
What's interesting too is that the Chiefs is actually they're number 6. They went from 43.6 to 39.5. So all their numbers offensively have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
But what hasn't gone, what's actually gone up is, well, if you want to call it that, is Patrick Mahomes not turning the ball over. If he throws 1 or 2 picks, that's going to be huge for San Francisco.
Those possessions will be huge. Yes.
Oh, and on the flip side, Brock Purdy, he's always been very good at not turning the ball over. He needs to continue to do so and not doing passes like he did, like that interception he threw against the Lions. That pass, he should have just ate that and took the sack.
Yeah. And plus he was late, but that he got pressure. He high-fived the D lineman. Pass.
So
he never had he was just behind.
Exactly.
And
he didn't have a
he
chance on
high-fived
that one. Again, that's credited to the offensive linemen not doing their job in pass protection. A little inconsistent. You hope they're more consistent in this game. Brock Purdy is the 3rd youngest QB to start a Super Bowl. I'd like to see. I mean, obviously, people are talking about how he's faced 2 subpar defenses, particularly in the secondaries for both Green Bay and Detroit, respectively. How he handles this top 5 defense is definitely one of the major keys to the game. I'm very intrigued, very excited, and very interested to see how he handles this type of defense.
Yeah,
the pressure that will be on him as a second year quarterback, truly playing for. I mean, his legacy, his status as the true franchise quarterback for the Niners, and then overall how the Niners handle all that as well too. Kyle Shanahan included. Are they going to give him the play calls to be successful in this game? And how is he going to handle that type of pressure? It's going to be quite a spectacle to see. I'm very excited to see how they handle all of this.
Yeah, and I think, for Shanahan, he's had Super Bowl experience. Wilkes has had Super Bowl experience. So I think from a coaching staff and being ready for the big game, they know what to expect,
Yes.
And, we have players on the team that have been to the big game as well together. So they know what to expect.
I mean, both teams have that experience.
Sure.
So it's going to be good on that term. Now, speaking of Brock Purdy, there were some comments or there were some things that were said about Brock Purdy from the organization, from the Niners organization. And I thought this was really interesting to hear Jed York talk about Brock Purdy in terms of what Kyle Shanahan thought about him early on in his career.
I remember this.
Let's check this out real quick. And I thought it was really cool.
After practice, it's like, hey man, we got to talk. And that's generally not a good thing when your coach tells you got to talk. All right, what's up? And he's like, I think our 3rd string quarterback's our best quarterback. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, obviously, like, we've invested in Trey. Like, Trey's doing a good job. Like, we're going to do everything that we can. We're not going to change that. And we're not going to change the depth chart. But, like, I think Brock will end up being our quarterback at some point. And, like, he didn't force it. Right, you had 2 injuries, and that's how Brock ended up playing. But he's always honest, even if it's not like one thing that owners don't love to hear when they've invested money and/or draft picks or both into people.
Yeah,
the last pick in the draft is the guy that we think is the best. That's generally not great news, but he's honest and he let it play out the right way. Brock, ironically, I think his first game was against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
and
it was.
He had some mop-up time.
Yep.
And Brock, I think he threw 1 ball into the stands. And, I may or may not have had some sarcastic comments or for Kyle post game.
Thank God he didn't
But when
tweet
Brock
those
took
out.
over last year, like
I know,
I
right?
think we had a calm about us, but there was a sense that like nothing catches you by surprise. And again, like you might not love everything that Kyle tells you, but he's always open and honest, especially in the moment. And he's very clear about that with me. It's like, look.
So again, I think
That's
it's
awesome.
interesting to hear that, you know, Kyle Shanahan early on thought that Brock Purdy was their best quarterback.
Yeah.
Their third string was the best quarterback.
That's a great
He
little intel, the inside story there. I mean, it's great to hear York talk about that kind of stuff and feel comfortable saying these
Yeah.
fucking like who would have fucking thought, you know? Who would have thought?
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Shanahan saw it.
And then we got one more here from the great John Lynch. Let's go ahead and listen to this real quick.
I was there when he told Jed that my jaw hit the floor. He had told me that, but I didn't think that. You know, Kyle often runs things by me to see if they're crazy. If they're now, Kyle and I had been talking. I mean, we like Brock early, you know, but it was in a really limited fashion that we had seen him. So I think we had a hunch that we had a chance to have something special. And you know, Kyle is about as direct as person. He's really easy to work with because there's no gray area. And so Jed told the story, but you know, I think where I'm at right now, we've got a huge challenge in front of us. So looking at his, you know, I guess Kyle was fairly prophetic that day because he's turned into a pretty special player for us, and we're really pleased about that.
Yeah.
Again, the vision that Kyle Shanahan had early on, seeing that, hey, this guy's our best quarterback, and he's likely going to be our quarterback at some time in the future. I mean, he already knew it.
He saw it.
Skilled,
he
intangibles,
saw it, yeah.
all that. It's crazy.
And you see the work ethic in the kid too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's there on days off. The guy's constantly throwing the ball. I hear him. He's there after meetings,
in
studying.
the film room, constantly in the film room, studying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's doing what he can, man. He's doing what he can to become a better player for that team, that organization.
Yeah,
you know, it's awesome to see. Awesome to see.
So, guys, as we kind of wrap things up here, we have to do this again because, of course, it's another show, and we have to get this in. But let's go around the horn and do one last final score prediction of this game.
Let's see.
So, Daniel, let's start with you. What do you think the final score will be as your final score prediction for Super Bowl 58?
You know, I'm going to try to stay consistent, although I would love to see a blowout. I want to say the last time we talked about this, I said Niners 27. Chiefs like 21, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be that kind of game. Although I don't I don't want it, but it seems to be the trend this season. It's going to take a hell of a lot of effort to beat the Chiefs. I mean, they are, you know, they're easily becoming one of the greater teams that we've seen in our generation right now. You know, where the Chiefs are always in it. So being able to execute the game plan and make that team one-dimensional, it's going to be really beneficial. So, yeah, Niners 27, Chiefs 21.
Dre.
I know we hear it all the time. It's one of the biggest cliches in sports, but to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I think going into this game, the Niners have the offensive firepower to score with the Chiefs. I think our defense has struggled these past two games. I think this is the third game, the third time's the charm. This is the game they finally show up. We see the defense we've been accustomed to. And I think the threshold to win this game, as far as letting the Chiefs score, I think if you can keep them at 21 points and below, I think the Niners have an excellent shot at winning this game.
Yeah.
And I think the Niners have the offensive firepower to do what they've done all season, and that's averaged about 30 points a game on the offensive side of the ball. And I think with see him make the same mistakes this time around, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say the Niners get that 30 on the board. I'm gonna say 30 to 18 Niners. 30-18 Niners. Kind of an odd score, but I think we're going to hold them under 21 points.
I think that after what we talked about, after breaking down all the stats and breaking down the rankings of the defense and the offense, originally my prediction was 24-21. That or it was 27-24, something really close. But, after really looking at this and seeing, if the Niners defense shows up and plays to their level, to their high standard, I think we're looking at a game that's going to be 31-17.
Mm-hmm.
I hope.
Kind of in the realm. Yeah, kind of in the realm. Well, like I said, I think, like you said,
I
think
hope.
we have the offensive firepower to counter their defense, and I think this is the game the defense finally shows up and puts
Four quarters together.
Puts 4 quarters together. Exactly.
Yeah, let's get 4 quarters.
Wear them down on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and what they can't do is fall behind on Mahomes early because that's what they want.
No, you cannot do what you did against the Lions.
Yeah.
We'll know
That's
in
Jared
those first
Goff.
series whether it's on offense, if we're marching the ball and we put up 7, or if we're on the defense and we send them to a quick 3 and out, maybe cause some crazy turnover from the get-go. You'll know the tone is set in that first series, offensively or defensively.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank both Dre and Daniel for coming out again.
Let's
go, Niners,
giving you our analysis.
Let's go to Vegas.
Now, for the game, I am going to be I'm going to be right there in Daniel's garage watching that game almost from where he's sitting. Dre, I don't know if you're planning to be there or not, but I know that's where I'm going to be at to watch the game.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it all out.
Hey, we still got 7 days, but should all get together. This will be awesome.
I mean,
I can't wait.
I want to see more of this, and I want to see less of this.
I want to see that with the Chiefs jersey on.
Yes, I want to see that with Taylor Swift.
Oh, please. Please.
I know.
One time.
But like I said,
Patty Mahomes Sr. from his jail cell. Get that Chiefs on. Yeah.
Jesus.
And look, we have the weapons, the firepower to do it, and the run game has to be the biggest key. The one thing I hope is that the Chiefs don't play on the Niners, trying to, overcompensate to stop the run and then giving up play action passes. But we'll see how it turns out. Only time will tell.
Man.
We're 8 days away, and it's exciting to know that next weekend we'll be watching the Niners in the Super Bowl again, which is fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, guys, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you smash that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. If you want to do so, you can become a member of the channel as well over on Nicotino. That's the best way to support this channel as well, becoming a member or joining us over on Patreon. Having said that, let's go Niners.
Go Niners, baby.
Let's go Niners.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We'll
catch you next time.
Let's go.
Peace.